I was recruited to come and be the CEO of Southlake Hospital. We were here in late '93 for the Christmas parade down Main Street. So I thought I was coming to build a hospital. We get here, the chief financial officer brings me the books and I look at it and there's no money, so I ask her to bring me the foundation accounts and where the money is, and she said, no, there is none. And the way that we got that done was we did a transaction with Orlando Health. There were originally 3 bidders, but Orlando Health was the one that had the greatest sense of culture and the values that matched our own here. And the transaction was simply that we would allow them to take on half the equity as long as all the money stayed here and as long as all the operations in the future were inert to the benefit of the citizens of Southlake County. And so instead of putting the money in the hospital where they would own half of the money they just put in, we put it in the foundation, community foundation.
Well, when I was small, it was a little clay street, the main street of Claremont, just a few houses, 2 or 3 little stores. And we were just a little community and knew nothing about the outside world. As far as I was concerned, Claremont was all there was.
Well, Oakley was Mr. Claremont when I got here. He served on the hospital board, one version or the other of it, for 50 years. Just was synonymous with the word Claremont. He was on the hospital board that hired me and had continued to serve on the new board when we had the new hospital board. Don was the chairman of the board. Don was one of the 3 of us that sat in with all the negotiations with Orlando Health. And his idea was, let's do a transaction for a partnership with a local healthcare company, a large company, and bring equity back to the community, but get them behind us to help us with operations and stand behind us. And the most important part of that was we got a loan guarantee. So Orlando Health guaranteed the first loan. They didn't put any money in it, they just put their guarantee behind it, which gave us a bond rating. Because in those days we couldn't even be rated, so we couldn't have borrowed money if we wanted to. His was the strongest vision, I think, for what could have been here. George was the attorney for the hospital. George was just a great friend, but he was a lot sharper than a lot of people gave him credit for. So the guys in Orlando didn't know what they were getting into when George Hovis and Don Wickham walked in the room. Well, Mike was a great friend and a mentor, and I probably turned to him in the early years. I probably turned to him more often, not because Don's door was always open, but Don was a busy man, and so was Mike. But Mike was a little more direct with me, more like an older brother. And he wasn't afraid to kick me in the butt and send me back to work. But he was very instrumental behind the scenes with advice and encouragement. Well, first I would tell you there's not a single one of those guys that did anything with the thought that he'd ever have something named after him or anything else. They were all completely selfless and really strong passion and great heart for the community. Having said that, as we began to lose them, it became more and more apparent that there was reason why we should leave more of a legacy behind. Interestingly enough, these 2 buildings, which sit side by side on this beautiful hill overlooking the campus, are at the intersection of Don Wickham Drive and Oakley Senior. So, all 4 of those names right here, if you look at that map and there's a pin in that map, all 4 of those names are memorialized right here. And they were great, great men and wonderful supporters of the community. So I can't think of a better way to remember them.